The other thing to keep in mind as we head towards this game with Italy is that this isn't really, arguably, this isn't really the best Italian lineup. 11 of the players have seen less than 10 caps, and they're in single digits cap-wise. That's not to say there aren't some great veterans on this team. Of course, you have Buffon, Cellini. There are some guys that De Rossi's played 70 times for this country. Andre Pirlo, come on, 81 caps. And then, Pazzini's going to be there too. He has 23 caps. There's some real fantastic players on this team. There's also a lot of players with not a whole lot of international experience. So, this isn't I don't think this is their best team. And so it's not going to be our best team either.
At this point. It could work to their advantage or their disadvantage. You could basically have a team of players with only a handful of caps each that are motivated or hungry to want to come out and make an impression. Yep. But then again, as you say, they lack the experience at that level that they could very well easily make just as many mistakes as they do quality plays.
Well, maybe so. These are fantastic.
I'm not saying that they're not fantastic players.
They are.
They're even the ones that don't have that many caps. And they're still professional players playing in a top league.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's going to be tough regardless. But
it is, and I think a real highlight that I need American fans should be looking out for is Federico Balzaretti. Balzaretti's going to be playing, and that's very important. Why? Well, because I'm looking forward to the announcers trying to correctly pronounce his name, and a guy like that doesn't get a name like that, right? Balzaretti on accident. This guy, he comes prepared.
Balzaretti.
That's right. And his family name, that's right, his family name, his great-great-great-great-great-grandfather got that name for a reason as well. He was quite the guy in town, and all the gals knew him. Anyhow, just a few other comments and commentary. Oh, by the way, before I go on to some of the really, 30-second topics, you did notice that the new Golden Corral commercials now specifically tell you what you can dip in it. Did you notice that?
Forgetting, I don't have cable anymore.
Oh man, yeah. Now they tell you. They're like, this is what you need to dip in it. Here's what you dip in it, and I guess that's because, well, also it may not be around very much longer because I guess there's some sanitation questions, and if you remember the old Seinfeld double dipping thing.
You double dip that chip.
You can. Well, apparently people are double dipping into the chocolate fountain, and that's causing some sanitation questions. And
what are they doing eating their food at the fountain? Are they supposed to dip it in there and then put it on a plate and take it back to their table?
But Brett, there are a bunch of 10-year-old, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. You don't have one of those yet, right? I do. Yeah. These are the same kids that will pick their nose, then pick up a strawberry and eat it with the same fingers they just went digging for gold. So these are the same kids. You get an 8-year-old, you give them a strawberry, dip, chew, dip, chew. They're double dipping all the time. Sanitation issue, and if you've seen the people who go to the Golden Corral, you will know why that could be even more of a problem.
I love the random tangents our show takes.
No, you don't. Anyhow, all right, so Robbie Keane mentioned he was keen on maybe returning to Europe, but, he said he's going to stay loyal to the Galaxy. This is kind of a weak comment. I wish he wouldn't have said anything, frankly.
Exactly, yeah.
You just shut up, Robbie, and go play for the Galaxy.
Well, regardless, the Galaxy aren't gonna sell him.
Hell no, they're not.
No.
Not at this point.
They've got him. They've got an all-star roster. They're in the Champions League. They're going to compete for the back supporter shield or wherever they are now.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to try to get MLS Cup again. They have on paper they have a very deep squad, and they're not going to release one of their key players.
Somebody mentioned this is maybe the best American club, harking back to even the days of the 77 Cosmos. I don't know if I take it that far, but it's a fine club. Very good. This is one of the best clubs out there right now.
No, the Bruce has shown.
Yeah, yep. And then, go ahead.
I said he's done well.
Yeah, well, Yeah, New York should have waited a little longer before they got rid of the Bruce. That was a bad mistake.
Yeah.
Michael Ballack is going to be doing commentary prior. This is kind of his intro to the American audience prior to maybe coming to MLS. So that ought to be interesting to watch. His English is fairly good, as many Germans' English are. Of course, he played in Chelsea, too, so he had a good chance to refine that English. So it'll be interesting to watch him as a commentator as we move forward here.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Convey, and his always classy self, ripped San Jose in his Kansas City, I guess, sort of opening press day, saying that, well, at least this time he won't have to do day classes with 10-year-olds or whatever after San Jose practice so he can pay his bills. Is that really what he meant to say? That's kind of a cheap shot.
Wasn't he getting paid like $300,000 over at San Jose? Wasn't it the big reason why he couldn't get away from there? Is because nobody wanted to pick up his salary?
Triple figures.
Regardless of the fact.
He's complaining, yeah.
Oh, boo freaking who! You got to spend an hour after practice to work with to do some promotional to build culture in the U.S. I do that for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut up, Bobby. I do that for free.
Bobby is just not doing much to endear himself to anybody.
Oh, God.
He wasn't a big fan favorite there. He wasn't even a favorite with, the staff. Certainly not with the manager. And what happened to that kid that went over to, England early on? He just seems to turned into a bitter old...
to his head, it seems like.
He's a bitter old man, and he's not even in his 30s yet.
From California.
What a grump. Fucito looking good for Montreal in his first preseason game. And already some Seattle fans are just saying, this is exactly what we thought was going to happen. You get rid of a guy like Mike Fucito, who's kind of a fan favorite. You bring in a guy, and we'll give him a shot, EJ, who had a rough time down there in Mexico, and now he's in Seattle, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on EJ. And so Fucito looking good for Montreal. Montreal could have a pretty decent team. They've done some good stuff.
Yeah. Well, ignoring the Vancouver-Montreal game, of course.
Oh, well, yeah. It's preseason.
It is preseason, I know, but it's just you never want to see a 3-0 against one of your big rivals.
Yeah.
And you never want to see that. But...
No, you don't. Oh, and before we go on, do you ever watch that? Oh, you don't have cable.
No.
I keep asking you if you watch these damn shows.
I got Netflix and I got my Xbox for ESPN3.
How long are they going to have Bigfoot, that Bigfoot show on? They're in their second season. They have not seen a Bigfoot.
It's a Bigfoot show?
Yeah, there's a whole show on, what is it, Discovery?
Hunting for Bigfoot?
Animal Planet. Yeah, that's all they do. They've been looking for Bigfoot for 2 years. They have no proof, no pictures, no nothing, and they keep following these morons all over the whole country. They have not even a single picture of a Bigfoot, no proof of really a Bigfoot ever existed, ever did, and yet the show continues into its second season. We need to start some sort of weird-ass show, and probably get a lot more attention. Looking for Loch Ness. We'll just move out to Scotland somewhere.
We'll just be out there on a boat fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, but...
got a bite.
Speaking of Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster, there was an article by Jonah Freedman. It's our second article in a row we've mentioned, or second show in a row we've mentioned Jonah, so hopefully he doesn't think we're stalking him. It's just that we read a lot, right? And this one came up because the title was like, Chelsea could take a lesson from MLS. And on its face, you're like, oh my God, what is Jonah going to say here? But his point was, hey, Chelsea, quit changing managers every 8 months, 9 months, 1 year. Stick with a guy for a while. I'm not sure this is the guy they want to stick with. But, the point is, quit changing managers, every 2 weeks. It's not going to help your team. But he does understand that the pressures at Chelsea are immense.
Millions and millions of dollars.
Immense. Pressure, yes. Yeah. I don't even think Chelsea at this point has the option of dumping because they paid so much money. They're still paying for the guy before him. I mean, how many more millions?
That's why you stop dropping them. You suck it up and try to progress forward. A coach needs more than 6 months to make it the team his. And even though Chelsea's built around world-class players, it's not necessarily going to say that the next coach you bring in, it's going to work for him and his tactics and formations and shit like that. Well, but going back to the article here, have you noticed that Jonah is a lightning rod of hate?
Well, yeah.
People are just hating all over his articles.
Yeah.
It's kind of humorous because he brings up a solid point. You're never going to find stability as a club if you're just revolving managers. If you're a revolving door of managers, you're just bringing in a new manager every season.
Right.
And that's basically what Chelsea's done. Over the past handful of seasons, they've had like 4 full-time managers and then like 2 part-time managers. Just 2 caretakers is what it's been called.
Yeah.
He makes a comment about how he made an example in MLS because he wasn't necessarily saying that Chelsea needs to learn something from MLS. A lowly MLS can't teach high and mighty Chelsea anything about soccer.
Yeah.
He wasn't saying anything like that, but he was using MLS as an example, saying, look at how New York handled their situation with the Bruce. I mean, New York's been has a history of revolving, bringing in managers and throwing them out, bringing in new managers and throwing them out. But look what they did with the Bruce. They had him here for 15 months roughly.
Yep.
They got rid of him.
They blew it.
LA picked him up. LA took 2 years of not making the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, they had a championship quality team.
They stuck
and now
with
they
him.
have one of the deepest teams.
Yep. They stuck with him.
Yep.
That
is all Jonah was saying in his article.
Yeah, I guess. And I hate when people come in and they say stuff like, Jonah Freedman, all I can say is you're an idiot. Well, say why he's an idiot. Tell us why you disagree. Don't just say that. I hate people who do that, on our show on YouTube or other places where they see our show and they'll comment like, well, you guys are just dumbasses. Well, why are we dumbasses? Tell us why. List out the reasons why you disagree. Because you know what? It's okay to disagree. Maybe you just have a different opinion. All right, Jonah, so hang in there. No big deal, right? The other thing that was kind of funny, did you hear the Donovan interview? This is something I heard about through the grapevine, where they asked him where he'd consider going back and playing for Everton full-time. And I guess somewhere in the interview he says, yeah, sure, but I'd have to ask my mom. Did you hear that one?
I did not.
Well, our friend, Anthony Stevens, posted that up, and he's going to post the link up for me soon, because I really want to watch that happen. I have to ask my mom. My mom? Come on, you're a grown man, Landon. Hopefully. And there was another, this is so crazy, Brad. There is a brand new website out there, and it is called Major League Soccer UK. It is a view of Major League Soccer from across the pond. I don't know how brand new it is. I just happened to notice it, and it made me laugh. Well, not because I, don't think that they might have a really, objective view of the league. Because I think some of these guys recognize that the game is getting better over here, and they are going to be fair. It's just how much crap we get on an average basis from people overseas who think MLS is no better than soccer in the Burmese second division. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was reading a Post America interview the other day. I forgot who was interviewing now, but he had mentioned that basically MLS has grown a cult following in the UK. It's still small, obviously, but there is a cult following there. The problem is accessibility. Basically, the people who want to watch the game, depending on where the games are being located at, makes a big difference. It's a big problem.
I think that's to the benefit of MLS. I mean, how many times do you turn on the TV at 2 or 3 in the morning after a long night of drinking and have absolutely nothing to watch whatsoever?
Infomercials.
Yeah. This is great. Not that you watch TV anymore because you obviously don't. No. But